Greetings, GameCola faithful, and welcome back to more Super Metroid. In the previous episode, we arrived back at planet Zebes after Ridley stole the baby Metroid from the research station with plans to do something nefarious, we're sure. In this episode, we're going to continue exploring the planet in this area called Crateria and see what else we can find. Now, there is this odd wall here. We did not explore this area when we got here, just because my natural instinct is to go where I know we can go next. But just as a proof of concept, we can in fact explore with our newfound bombs. And we can blow this area up here. But I said, there we go. But we run into this door here, which is green. And our regular shots, nor our bombs, nor our missiles do anything to this door. So we can't get through there. We can do a little bit of platforming to get further up this area. But there's not really a whole lot for us to do out in this main sort of landing area. So let's head back inside and see what there is to see in here. So if we look at the map, there is a save room and one extra little room further down, so that's probably a good place to go next, just to clean up this area. We could head back down to Brinstar properly, that blue area we were in, but that's kind of a ways away, and it's a bit tedious to go up and down that long vertical shaft with all the space pirates in it. So I think we should continue exploring this area. We can now go through here with our morph ball, and if we had gotten just the morph ball and tried to go through here, we would have found that we need bombs to actually make it all the way through. But now that we have both of those things, we get another missile upgrade, taking our total to 15. Very nice. And of course, it probably goes without saying, but missiles are more powerful in terms of damage to enemies than our regular shots. So, if you're facing a particularly strong enemy, you may want to switch to missiles. Although, at this point, I really think missiles are more useful as an exploration tool, that is, opening missile-red doors, than anything else. But once we have a whole bunch of them, we can certainly start unloading them into our foes. So, once again, we look at the map, and you can even see it on the mini-map here, that the map continues on this way. But we can't shoot this wall, but we did find that other wall out in the main landing area that we could blow up with bombs, and hey, we can get through. I love this purple background, and we've got these weird vine-like bulbous things growing up from the ground, the small ones in the background, and then these big ones in the foreground that we can actually stand on. I think the graphics in this game are so very, well, alien. We are on an alien world after all. But that combined with the atmospheric music is just, mwah, I love it. And here we have an energy tank. Hard to miss it. You'd run right into it if you just sprint through this room not doing anything else. That gives us 100 more energy. And if we had taken any damage, it would have fully restored all of our health. That can actually be extremely valuable in some cases. You can use it strategically, for example, if you are very familiar with the game and plan ahead. It's used in certain types of speedruns to basically restore the player's health in dire points, such as after boss fights or particularly tricky sections, or if they use damage boosting to just tank damage to get through areas faster. Now, these space pirates, we can shoot them with our beam, but they are immune, or I guess they block it, but they can't hold up to missiles. Let's keep grabbing these refills here, very useful. That's the nice thing about these pirates. They're very kind, and they drop missiles. Sorry, I have to count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 every time I shoot one of these doors, because otherwise I'm liable to not shoot enough or shoot too many and waste them. And with as few as we have, we definitely want to preserve them. Interesting. Very strange room here. And an even stranger one here. These are the 4 major bosses of the game that we must defeat. In Metroid 1, you had a room with 2 statues, one of Kraid and one of Ridley, which would only form the final bridge to the last area once you had defeated them both. This is something similar to that. So a little glimpse of our objective. I realized that I interrupted myself in the middle of a previous statement, and I've now forgotten what it was I was going to talk about, so oops. And these little things here, I tend to just avoid them, but if you shoot them, they spawn these little bugs that hop around. They can be a little difficult to hit with how small they are, but if you just blast them a whole bunch, they are a decent way of farming energy and ammo pickups. And we've got an elevator here. Exploration senses kind of bomb around. Doesn't seem like there's anything for us to do in this room, so let's head downward and see what awaits us. I love this moment so much. You come down the elevator, you hear the music slowly fading in, and right when the beat drops, you land at the base of the elevator, and you've fully entered green Brinstar. You can see there's the area of Brinstar we were in before. That's quite a long ways away, but this area and the blue area are both considered part of Brinstar. So Brinstar is quite a large area, but I don't believe it is the largest. Got these goofy little yellow creatures crawling around. Yellow, green, something like that. Got a bunch of missile doors here. We can look around. We find a Mario pipe from which enemies are spawning. Good place to refill if you need it. Oh, and these doors drop down and prevent us from going any further. But we at least get a missile expansion for our inconvenience. We have to bomb our way out here. Make sure you don't get sniped by that enemy as you come out. And let's check this door. I also think this might be my favorite song in the game, the Green Brinstar theme. Although there is one other one that is a lot of people's favorite that I also do really enjoy, but I will point that out when we get to it. Now, in the first episode, I mentioned this whole thing about locked doors. We defeated all the enemies in this room because when we entered, this door locked behind us. It is recommended, just for a little bit of convenience, that you shoot that door now, or at least I recommend it. Maybe it's not really faster in the long run. Because when we go into this room, that will clear out all of the enemies, which will relock, or it will respawn all of the enemies, and because we did not shoot the door in the previous room, the door would relock, and so we'd have to defeat everyone to unlock it again. So as you can see, this is a very, very expansive area. And again, this isn't even the entire map. The map stations only reveal most of the map, or even just some of the map. You can see there's areas that are not even connected. So we'll have to figure out how to get to those places ourselves through good old-fashioned exploration. Yeah, I suppose in hindsight, we probably didn't need to go through all the trouble of running back and shooting this door open, but as you can see, it was already open before we defeated all of the enemies. So, point proven, even if it was probably not efficient. Another save room here. I'll go ahead and refrain from saving. Best not to save mid-recording in case something goes wrong. Let's go ahead and start shooting some enemies to replenish our missiles. They are very valuable. Now, the lighting in this room is rather dim, and if we shoot one of these enemies, it gets dimmer and dimmer. Perhaps we should avoid shooting any more of them. If you also bump into them and touch them, they will also explode and dim the room. If you defeat all of them, it will actually make the room not completely pitch black, but almost pitch black. To the point that seeing would be very difficult. So let's try and get out of this room without defeating any of them. Very nice. Trickier than it looks. And also, I failed to point that out, but that is a missile recharge station. I should note that is only missiles that it recovers, not any of the later weapons that we will get, such as this one here, which we will have to go through a decent chunk of the game before we will see. There was also a sequence break that I skipped over, known as Mock Ball, in order to get early super missiles. I could certainly point out how that works. However, if I wanted to do that sequence break, I would actually need to get the super missiles. And I think I'd like to do this playthrough at least mostly in sequence, because I think this game does a really good job of guiding the player without hand-holding, just guiding through good game design. So we can go down, or we can go up. I feel naturally drawn to this sort of staircase-like area, and if we switch to missiles here, we can dispatch these enemies in one shot, which is very nice. Need some quick reflexes to not be basically just jumped into by some of them. Up here we have, of course, another save room. Very nice. I do think it's very cleverly hidden. Oh, tricky. They got me there. They changed up their jumping pattern. But this area, the camera does not scroll until you actually go through the area, and there is that one little block that would be on the very edge of the screen. Now, of course, it still looks a bit suspicious, so you're likely to check it out anyway, but this game does some neat things with how it hides some of its secret passages, and I really appreciate that. Okay. These enemies. Boom. 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 Very nice. It unlocks the door. Again, mostly a little OCD about just opening those doors. It's not really that important. But let's go up here. Some spores falling from the ceiling. Uh-oh. It's boss time against Spore Spawn. I don't know if anything ever tells you the name of these bosses. There's a little safe spot here. Ooh. Very creepy music as well. I love it. Although matching the boss himself, it matches a bit of the tedium of this fight. In many speedruns, this boss is completely omitted because it just takes so long. Even in 100%, in fact. So they've found ways to get the items that he is guarding. Spoiler alert. Without actually even fighting him. Some jokingly refer to him as the DLC boss. I say him, really, it's It's a plant, so it may not even use traditional pronouns to begin with. Not much to do here except wait, and of course, as you've seen, there we go. Haha! You can get off a couple missiles into his core there when he opens up. And now we can actually stand on him. And fun fact, if you wall jump off of him, he shakes. There are certain objects in the game that when you wall jump off of them, they just kind of shake like that, which I think is kind of funny. Samus is really putting a lot of force into that kick when she wall jumps. So, what's going on here? There's nothing around. But once again, if we look at the map, it seems to continue downward. Do the Mario! Whee! Alright. We don't need any long fall boots. We're Samus Aran, and we get super missiles. These missiles, as we will soon see, are even more powerful than regular missiles, as the name would probably imply. And they can open, in one shot, green doors. We will also find that they can also open regular missile doors with a single shot, which is very useful. And they can also destroy certain blocks. Boom. Now we emerge from this little nook in the wall. Lots of really energetic enemies here. Gotta watch out for them. Some strange blocks on the ceiling. Ow. How about thee? Here's something that I will show off the sequence break for. We normally need an item that we get a little bit later to traverse this area. But I'm going to go ahead and grab this now, because we will still need to return here later, because there's actually an even further hidden item in this area, which I will get into later, because we can't access it right now with the current tools that we have. Boom, gotcha. And we get another missile upgrade. Been getting a lot of those in this area. They are the single most plentiful upgrade in the game. I think by the end you will have something like 250 missiles. But here we get something even better. Charge Beam. This is invaluable because it basically turns your regular shot into something akin to a missile. Oh, and if you charge up a shot and then duck down, you will toss out a bunch of little bombs in a sort of splash pattern. It's not really that useful, if I'm honest. But there are probably some niche uses for it that I'm not particularly aware of. So let's continue onward. Oh, we see that there is up here, and we saw one in that sort of pink area as well. There is a yellow door, which we, once again, do not have the means to open. Lots of enemies emerging from these pipes. This one, however, will net us another missile upgrade. I'm actually not sure what our total is now. I think it might be 35. And this here, this little gate, we can shoot it to open it or close it. We will find various varieties of these gates throughout our adventure. This one here, blue, meaning that it can be opened like a door with our regular shot. Some of them require missiles or even super missiles, actually. So that is important to keep in mind. And also, the button to open it is only on one side. So once we leave this room, that gate will respawn and we will not be able to return here later. Though, of course, we will be able to return here later in the game, just not right now. That is a one-way passage. This area is called the New Bridge because if you are not either familiar enough with the controls to feel comfortable running, or simply didn't read the manual or the in-game control options and don't somehow know that you have a run button, I find it hard to believe. But I do know that some people were definitely tripped up by this bridge. So you need to get across it by simply running, which I think is pretty neat. It's not exactly an action set piece, but it's fun. I like it. And now we have reached Red Brinstar with one of the other especially great pieces of music in this game. And also, I just want to point out, I love the background artwork in this area. Sort of the vertical shaft areas in this game have some really gorgeous background graphics. Aha. Another yellow door there. Can't do anything about that. Ow! Cursed enemies. You made me take damage. Luckily, there's an energy recharge station right here. Very convenient. And we find some water here. I think this is the first area in the game we found with water. And if you fall into it, your controls become very sluggish. And it's generally very annoying. You do not want to be in water if you can help it at all. There's something up here, and we could get it if we had a means of jumping higher. Or, of course, if we could wall jump. And this is an item which I'm going to simply sequence break to get, because we really would just have to come back here in just a short little while. And it's already very obvious how you would get to it. So by sequence breaking, I don't think I'm really losing a whole lot. The reason that I didn't sequence break the Spore Spawn fight is because I wanted to get super missiles in the appropriate moments, because if you get them early, you can skip Spore Spawn because you can blow open the green door at the bottom of the pink area immediately. You don't have to do anything else in that region. But if we don't have super missiles by that point, which you're not expected to, you actually have to explore a little bit and fight Spore Spawn. Also, it's very important to hold right when you blow through that, otherwise you will fall down. It's a very mean trap because you will fall right into the maw of the enemy waiting below. And here we get the Spazer Beam. I don't know why it's called that. Maybe it was meant to be Spacer? I don't think so, though, because I think it's specifically, in Japanese, it's Speza, not Spesa. In later games, I think it's actually been renamed to the Wide Beam, which I guess works, although it's really more multiple beams than a wide beam. So, I don't know. Semantics. This area looks very different, and if we check the map, we see that we are in a place called Meridia, which we will not see again, or rather, we will not explore properly for quite a while, but we will in time. I love the foreground effect of the water. Ooh, this game is gorgeous. We can keep moving onward and head downward once more. Although we can see briefly there, I know it just went away, that there was something off to the right-hand side. But I think we should head here for the time being. Oh, and here we are forced to contend with these again. We can get out by bombing through here. So we are not trapped, but there's nothing we can do there for the time being. Have these little fiery enemies, which I like. Very neat design. This room is hot, and we are taking very rapid damage if we stay in there, so let's leave. It would be nice if those areas were marked on the map, but they are not. Ooh, very nice. An energy tank, always welcome. Now this door here is locked behind us. We need to defeat that enemy there to open it again. But of course, it's a bit of a chore to get back to that door for the time being, so we will just defeat him again when we get back. And here we get the high jump boots. So now, of course, you can see how we could go back and get the spacer beam without doing a wall jump to slightly sequence break. But it's such a minor thing, and having the spacer beam early doesn't really break the game wide open or anything, so I just like getting it early for a little bit of optimization. And that's one of the wonderful things about this game. It is very, very replayable, because once you know where things are, you can optimize your next playthrough to be a little bit faster. So there we go, blast him, the door unlocks, and we can leave. And that's part of why I think this game works so well for things like speedrunning, is because it already encourages you to figure out how to play it faster. Alright, that area is very hot as well. What's in this door? It is a save room. What's on the other side? Is it another hot room? It is not. Oh, we find these guys. We need to bomb them, or you can alternatively aim up, select missiles, and shoot, because they take damage from missiles. One shot from a missile or a bomb will kill them. But curiously, when you aim up and shoot a missile, the missile emerges slightly below your cannon, so the hitbox actually intersects the enemies while they're latched onto you, which is kind of silly. But for the time being, I think this is a great place to stop for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're really enjoying it so far as much as I am, and I will see you all in the next video.